Hey, every single real estate broker I talk to blames the market. They're blaming their agents, the interest rates, their inventory. It's all outside stuff that they're talking about. And I'm here to tell you that the market is not the problem. The problem is that we build businesses on this hustle, on this personality, on charisma. My name's Todd Conklin. Welcome back to the show. So I'm just a guy who built a business from two of us in the basement of our house to doing $3 billion a year in business. And I'm going to walk you through the exact framework that I use to grow our brokerage from chaos to 3 billion. It's the same framework that I use with clients to help them go from zero to hero. And it starts with one really uncomfortable but truth that most brokers never face.
Real estate professionals, you and I both know 87% of the licensees don't make it in this business. Don't worry, I don't have anything to sell you here, but what I do want to do is I want to impact your life. I want to change your life. In order for you to be the top of the top, you're going to need to do some things different. And one of those things is to become part of the Sales Warrior community. Subscribe below, it's free.
Number one is that most companies are built on the founder's energy. Look, charisma, I get it. You got lots of it. Vision, you got lots of that. Energy, boy, you got tons of energy. Nobody's going to outwork you. It's why you're in the position that you're in. But look, that's not a repeatable, scalable system. It's inconsistent. And what happens then is that without your energy, your production goes this way and that way, and it's not scalable. It's not a repeatable, consistent system. Your personality, your energy can't be the driving force in your business, period. Hustle is not a business model. You're going to have to do things different, and that thing that is different is you got to have a system. Number two is process versus personality. Look, here's the thing. If it's all personality, you're vulnerable. You're at risk. Think about it from a retention perspective. When somebody is with you, they're not going to leave you for a better comp plan. They're going to leave you because they've lost confidence in your leadership ability. Your leadership is the thing that creates confidence in the hearts and minds of your agents. See, they want somebody who has a system. They want somebody who knows that if they do A, B, and C, that the right outcome is going to actually be the outcome. And what happens is they lose that confidence in you because you don't have a system. It's because you're built the entire business on this personality. It's this energy. So it's brute force. Think of it that way. They're not looking for just motivation. Motivation is part of it, but they need to have belief in your infrastructure. They need to have belief in your systems. And when they have it, they become inspired, not motivated. All right, number three is the framework that you have to have installed in your business. And there are 6 pieces to it. Number one is leads. As a company, as a brokerage, as a leader, you have to be a lead monster. If you don't know how to generate leads, there's no way that you can help somebody else learn how to generate leads. And agents, whether they're with you currently, you're talking about retention, or whether they're with somebody else and they're looking for you, they need to believe that you know how to do that. So that's number one. You have to know how to generate leads. Number two, you've got to be listing focused. And I'm talking about listings for leverage. We all know that in order to succeed in this business and last in this business, you have to be listing focused. But what oftentimes leaders forget is that they have to build a system around those listings to generate more listings, to generate more buyer opportunities. That goes back to number one, ironically, right? More leads. Number three then becomes operational excellence. Everything you do has to have a standard operating procedure, a proven process, a system and an infrastructure that is there so that all the promises that are made, whether those promises are made by you or they're made by the agent, they are followed through, they're executed on at an excellent level. Number four then becomes strategic marketing. And the way I like to explain strategic marketing is that if you took your marketing budget, let's just call it 100% of the pie. Oftentimes what happens is brokerages and agents for that matter, take 80% of the money that they have to invest and they spend it on the next big thing, like trying to find the secret sauce or the silver bullet. Truthfully, what they should be doing is spend 80% on the 20% of the things that do all of the business, right? It's the 80-20 rule. Now, what do you do with the other 20%? The other 20% is what you spend on strategic marketing. So think about all of the new ideas, and there's always going to be some new idea that's actually going to work. You got to figure out which ones they are. So now you're going to invest 20% on the new ideas. Make sense? And then number five then becomes strategic agility. Okay, what's agility? Well, this is you understanding the market. This is you being able to see what's going on in the future. This is you being able to see around corners. That's what's going to make you a leader worth following. So let's put that into practice here in current day. So as inventory was low, it makes sense. We know that, oh, well, the prices are going to go up. Now we can see that in the rearview mirror, but what are we looking at in the future now? Well, interest rates are up and inventory is climbing. Depending on your market, it's either climbing quickly or it's climbing slowly, but it's climbing. We also know that there are more and more price reductions. So what does all that mean? Well, it may mean nothing today, because if you looked at the numbers today and you tried to do a market analysis, for example, it probably looks a lot like, well, volumes are up, which means the average sales price has gone up, and it wouldn't track with sort of what the data prognosticates. And so what I would ask you to do is, from a strategic agility standpoint, what is it going to look like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months from now? And position yourself now to be the one that catches that rain. Does it make sense? Because we all know as inventory goes up, well, prices are going to start to get shaky. And as we start to see more and more, right now it's somewhere between 20 and 38% of all listings have experienced at least one price reduction. Well, we know that they're going to get into a competitive situation, and that's going to further drive prices down. So if you are leading your organization to have conversations with sellers that if you want to sell and you want to sell for the highest price, you sell it now. You don't wait, because if you wait, you're going to have more competition that's all going to drive the prices down. That would be an example of strategic agility. And then I'm going to give you the sixth one that most people don't talk about, and it's mindset. Look, as a leader, like, there are some things that you have to do different. Yes, you have to be the chief motivation officer. I get it. But look, you've got to be a dream builder. You've got to be a hero builder. You've got to help people build financial fences around their families. You've got to be somebody who cares not just about the dollars, but you got to be somebody who cares about the person. And the way you care about somebody is you find out what's important to them. And everybody's got something different, right? Some people do it for the money. Some people do it for the fame. Some people do it for the impact. There's a whole host of different reasons, but your job as a leader is to be that person. Now, look, if you're like most leaders I work with, y'all are pretty humble. Like, I know that's not conventional wisdom, but the truth is you're just a hard worker that's smart enough to know that you have something to give to the world. Your job is to be the ceiling, which means you have to raise the ceiling so everybody else's dreams can fit inside. That mindset shift is hard for a lot of leaders who are used to living in humility, right? Like we just chill, like we're just out grinding, we're just out hustling. Once you have systems in place, the level of your confidence then will transition so that you're going to have to focus even more of your time. Good news, you'll have more of it because you put these systems in place on your mindset. What does that look like? Get in rooms with other badass leaders. Push yourself. Focus on your 4 foundations. How's your faith? How's your family? How's your fitness? And how are your finances? If some of those are off track, you need to solve them. Like, you need to solve them now. Because look, you can't build a badass business and then have shit going wrong at home. It doesn't work that way. So this is where mindset is this weird hack, but it all starts with having a great coach, great mentor, and great people in your circle. The other thing you're gonna have to do is make sure that you are focused on overdeveloping. Don't ever let somebody in your organization outdevelop themselves over you, because the minute that happens is when they say bye. Now you have a responsibility. That means you bring the energy, you bring the inspiration, you bring the motivation, you bring it back to what's important for them. You bring it back to impact, and you be the leader that they're looking for. All right, so let's wrap this thing up. Let me talk about what the cost of doing nothing is. Because look, you can always watch videos and you can always go to a seminar or go to a conference and listen to somebody. But if you don't take action on this stuff, you're toast. So if you don't change, if you don't put in the structure, if you don't focus on those 6 tools, your retention continues to suck. Your recruiting continues to struggle. And the per person productivity, the very thing that you are responsible for in helping develop people's careers and build their badass lives, well, it'll struggle. And ultimately, that'll be the demise of your company. Now, look, you may still keep the doors open, but you and I both know what the profitability looks like. Hey, if any of this stuff hit, good. Hopefully it made you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Hopefully it made you feel like you were exposed a little bit. And the bottom line is I'm exposing the truth because I've been there. I've been through all of these things. I'm not teaching you anything that I read in a book. These are all things that I had to live myself. And now, thank God, I have the opportunity to show you how to avoid some of this. I get to compress your time and eliminate so much of the pain. So here's my ask to you. If any of this stuff hit, in the comments below, what was it? What are you gonna do to change it? And I'll see you on the next video.